Okay.
The computer room!
Innermost area!
No. I was trying to be Vector, you fucking nerd.
Monokuma room.
I don't know what I was trying to do there, but...
I don't know either.
Monokuma room. The innermost area computer room.
That's not what it says.
Shh! How much time had passed? The surveillance cameras at the gates were capturing footage of countless Monokumas falling at the hands of a child who fought like a raging demon. Yeah. So now we're gonna go into Junko? It looks like.
Mm-hmm.
The Monokumas bolstered their numbers, and now 100 of them were trying to sink their claws into Mukuro. Most of them were running on autopilot, reacting to the movements based on prior information like they had received in advance. But despite standing before hundreds of mechanical adversaries, Mukuro's face showed no fear. She hadn't sustained a single injury, giving her a presence that was nearly divine to behold. Though Sakura Ogami was powerful enough to injure her arm, Mukuro in her current state could potentially fight Sakura to a draw now without relying on firearms. She took complete control of the battlefield, taking in her surroundings as if they were a part of herself. She dodged attacks from the rear as though she had eyes on the back of her head, and stabbed through Monokuma's weak points with her metal bar. No matter where the attacks came from, Mukuro deflected all of them as if her skin covered her eye. Covered in eyes. As if her skin were covered in eyes. Describing her as ultimate no longer did justice. Mukuro had transcended the boundaries of humanity and becoming a pure killing machine. But despite that, even though she understood the ludicrous power her sister possessed, Junko was not afraid. She felt not one iota of fear.
She felt 2 iotas.
Exactly, it's not one. After all, all Junko can feel is despair. She even started to admire her sister's attempt to fill her with despair. But that sentiment quickly filled Junko with an
orgiastic ecstasy?
Orgiastic ecstasy of despair. Junko knew. She knew that Mukuro was neither hope nor despair. She was just a phenomenon. A disappointing girl who no longer understood herself, who only knew how to be violent because it was all she could ever believe in anymore. Mukuro had become an avatar of destruction beyond that of any military force. She couldn't even be considered a soldier anymore.
Yeah, she's an army. Or that.
She was a natural disaster, like a typhoon.
A typhoon?
Or a tornado.
Okay.
A typhoon or a tornado. Or perhaps like gravity, she was now a fundamental force of the universe that only existed to bring despair to Junko. Okay, that's kind of a ridiculous sentiment, but okay, I believe you.
Whatever works for you there, Junko.
The mastermind enjoyed watching her sister go all out. If Mukuro destroyed everything and ruined her life, Junko would still be comforted by the despair. She could just go right ahead and overpower her. Junko considered this for a few seconds until a familiar hopeless habit reared its head. Her habit of getting so bored that it made her sick. A girl who had been grinning as she'd watched the screen now bore a look of calm stoicism, and she reached for the microphone connected to Monokuma's speakers. Mukuro was no longer human anymore, but Junko knew how to bring her back. It was a simple feeling, really, and with that hopeless feeling for Mukuro in mind, the mastermind just said one word. Mukuro! In front of the main entrance. Mukuro! That voice. It was calling her name. Instead of using Monokuma's voice filter, Junko's natural voice was coming out of a Monokuma unit. That's all it took. With one word, Mukuro Ikusaba stopped being a force of nature and became a person again. Monokuma would not miss this opportunity. As if moving to the beat of Mukuro's shaking heart, a torrent of claws leapt to attack her. But Mukuro trusted her instincts and twisted her entire body to fend off the attacks, leaving her with only a few scrapes here and there. But the despair wasn't over yet. The ultimate despair didn't waste any time making her next move. Mukuro, watch out! Huh? As soon as Mukuro heard that voice, her mind went completely blank. There was no mistaking it. That was Makoto's scream. The scream that had saved her from the spears of Gungnir and changed her destiny. No, that's wrong. It took her a tenth of a second to realize it was a voice clip of us. That voice was just a sound clip that Junko had replayed. But it was more than enough to drag Mukuro, who had regained her humanity, into despair. Right when she recovered from her moment of shock, Monokuma appeared behind her and roundhouse kicked her in the temple. She twisted her head to roll with the blow, but at that moment a different Monokuma attacked her from the opposite side with a headbutt. As soon as Mukuro dodged that attack, 3 Monokumas launched simultaneous drop kicks and dropped her to the ground. The fact that they weren't using their claws meant they weren't trying to kill Mukuro right away. Before she could stand up, dozens of Monokumas waiting for her on the floor climbed on top of Mukuro and pinned her limbs. One of the Monokumas waddled over to Mukuro as she lay face down on the floor and laughed. That pretty girl's getting pinned by all these me's. I wonder if I should feel more excited about this. Don't make that face. If I wanted to kill you, I'd just pump you full of bullets right now. But I don't think that the audience watching this on TV would like that ending very much. I need to make sure I do it the right way this time. What are you planning to do to me? Mukuro asked in her emotionless voice. Monokuma guffawed and answered. Nothing. I'm just going to stick with the original plan to make you all play this killing game at school. I'll erase everyone's memories again, and I'll just make them redo the introduction and the entrance ceremony again. In typical Monokuma fashion, he leaned his face towards Mukuro's. But you'd be boring if we had to redo everything. Maybe this time I'll have you participate as Mukuro Kusaba. I'll take away even more of your memories, just like I did to the irritating detective girl. You'll just be a poor little girl with no memory at all. As Monokuma talked and wiggled his body from side to side, the other Monokumas danced and twirled around. Amid this fantastical scene, Monokuma continued to describe his hopeless plan in a nonchalant manner. At first you'll be the girl with amnesia, and everyone will feel so sorry for you, but as they unravel the mystery in this academy, they'll find out who you really are. It's exciting to think of how they'll treat you when that happens. Knowing you'll probably kill someone purely on instinct. Maybe I should rethink my rules about self-defense. You can't. Her memories would be erased. There was nothing she could do about her classmates hating her, but losing even her childhood memories would mean her connection to Junko would be severed as well. Even if Mukuro had no interest in the world, that was unbearable even for her. I've heard of New Game Plus before, but this is the first time I get to see a New Game Minus. Should I sign you up for fun? Or maybe we should make this game even more masochistic. Forget hard mode, very hard mode, and inferno mode. Why don't we just skip ahead to impossible mode? Maybe I'll erase your memories after I drag you to a motorcycle, pummel you with 1,000 baseballs, burn you at the stake, and crush you with an excavator. Mukuro knew what Monokuma was talking about. He was describing the tools they had prepared for the various executions they had planned for the students. After everyone reintroduces themselves, they'll walk around the school grounds and eventually find a flat-chested girl with amnesia, covered in bandages and with a Fenrir tattoo on her right hand. I'd bet a certain fan base might get off on that. If this were a game, it would increase sales by 500%. Though Monokuma sounded like he was joking, everything he said was deadly serious. As evidence, Mukuro heard a rumbling sound off in the distance. Now then, your sweet ride is on the way! Based on the engine's noise, Mukuro surmised it was the large motorcycle that was supposed to be used for one of the executions. I took the time to bring this all the way from the punishment room, so you better be grateful. The sound of the roaring engine grew louder and louder, like the approaching footsteps of death. Mukuro wondered how Monokuma would drive it with such tiny arms and legs, but then she remembered she was dealing with an ultimate despair, so all that fucking logic goes out the window. Junko would make the impossible possible just to bring it about despair. A despair that went hand in hand with Mukuro's fate.
Okay, you need to read your line.
Did I fail? I couldn't fill Junko with despair? I couldn't save Makoto and the others? Questions raced through Mukuro's mind, but she wasn't able to answer them. There's no way she could have answered them so easily. After all, she was still alive. The sound of the motorcycle grew closer and closer, as if it was threatening to break Mukuro's spirit. Suddenly, Monokuma stopped moving. The other Monokumas continued their automatic movements. As this strange event unfolded, Mukuro noticed something. The motorcycle had suddenly gone quiet. After a few seconds, the engine exploded to life and began to approach even faster than before. Only a few seconds later, what appeared in front of the main entrance was an enormous motorcycle that plowed through groups of Monokumas like a predator hunting prey. The rider of this motorcycle was none other than Mondo Owada.
Yes!
Mukuro and Monokuma were both visibly shocked by this turn of events.
Because it's a hero.
Instead of addressing them, Mondo accelerated the motorcycle he stole from Monokuma directly towards Mukuro. There's so many M names! Just before his front tire touched Mukuro, he popped a reverse wheelie and turned his entire motorcycle around. The back wheel swept over Mukuro's back, knocking her away from all the Monokumas that were pinning her. Hey, can you stand? Mondo asked, begrudgingly offered his hand to Mukuro. Confused, Mukuro took his hand and stood up. What are you doing, Mondo? I was so close. What are you doing, Mondo? I was so close! One of the Monokumas protested. Not in his normal voice, but as the hacker. Oh, that's a different person?
Apparently.
What are you doing, Mondo? I was so close!
One of the Monokumas protested, not in his normal voice, but as the hacker Bishiki Madurai. Oh yeah, you're Bishiki or whatever, right?
That's right! Why are you helping a terrorist?
I ain't bragging about this or anything, but I have no clue if you or this girl is lying. The veins in his temple began to bulge, and his cheeks flushed with anger as Mondo said, but still, I ain't the type to just sit around and watch some idiots gang up on a girl.
Bang up a girl?
What are you saying? Get a hold of yourself! You must be experimenting.
Shut up.
You must be experiencing Stockholm Syndrome! You deluded yourself into thinking you're friends with criminals who's taking you hostage!
Monokuma tried to explain to Mondo, but he ignored him, took Mukuro's hand, and pulled her into the back of the motorcycle. Oh, shut the fuck up! I don't know about nothing about Stockholms or syndromes, but don't go acting like you can boss me around.
Stockholms and syndromes. Oh my god.
Good shit.
Oh my
I
god.
fucking love Mondo, man. As Mondo shouted, he revved his motorcycle as if he was using it to punctuate his words. The ceiling-mounted turrets began moving, but the two disappeared before the turrets could take aim at the motorcycle. As they zoomed throughout the hallway, countless Monokumas chased after them, waving their claws wildly through the air. Why? Asked Mukuro. Huh? Shouted Mondo. His voice was even louder than the sound of the engine. Don't get the wrong idea! I don't trust you at all! He lowered his voice slightly as if he were whispering to himself. Still, I don't know why I feel like I could trust what he said. He? Inquired Mukuro. But there was no time for questions. Yay, Makoto! The unit leading the Monokumas chased after the motorcycle had almost caught up to them. Then the enormous maws of fearsome creatures, they brandished their claws in perfect unison. At that moment, the motorcycle zoomed by a certain girl. A girl whose fighting ability surpassed that of any normal human. The strongest girl on Earth.
Sakura!
With a fighting spirit that defied comprehension, the ultimate martial artist kicked off the floor. A sound even louder than the motorcycle's engine filled the room. When Mukuro looked back, she saw Sakura landing on the floor, sending a pack of Monokumas flying several meters away. Sakura? If she heard Mukuro mumble her name, Sakura didn't acknowledge it. Like a statue of a fearsome god king, she calmed her breathing as she stood before the pack of Monokumas, ready for battle. Your pursuit methods seem unbecoming for the one who claims to be the ultimate hacker. An overpowering aura seeped from her skin, and her skin shimmered as an intense heat began to fill the hallway and this room.
Wait a minute.
Unlike
Hold
the
up.
power of Mukuro's sheer violence, this was the power of martial arts.
I have a question.
Yes.
Spoilers for the first game in advance, but isn't Sakura,
Working for the mastermind?
so what did she know this shit? Is like, she know the truth? Or did she take on that role after all this shit transpired in the real game?
Well,
Was she always the traitor, or was she just like after a certain period of time did she
Well,
take
here's the
that
thing.
role?
Maybe, because if I'm thinking this correctly, Makoto told them that Mukuro wasn't entirely terrible, and so
Yes, but Sakura should have known who was telling
yeah.
the
But
truth.
Makoto, see, here's the thing. Makoto also got his memories back, so he probably could have told them that Junko was, like Mukuro was friends just like the rest of them. And Sakura would have no choice to believe him, or be slightly doubtful, but mostly believe him, and then try to go
No,
after
because he was
Ishiki.
called a terrorist too.
Yeah, but again, he has memories. He probably explained it to them while they were in the cafeteria, because Monokuma got them all together.
If he's awake.
He probably is. They probably got him stabilized enough that he's it. Because why else would Mondo say, "I can't believe I'm trusting what he said"? Who else could he be referring to that would save Mukuro?
That's fair.
So I think he might have explained the situation, and they're trying to save her.
Anyway.
From whoever Bashiki Madurai is. Because they still don't know it's Junko.
Nope.
Unlike, Mukuro froze the air around her and time along with it, but Sakura was generating enough heat to boil space itself as she stood before the Monokumas.
the universe.
She just takes the entire universe, puts it in a pan, and just starts swirling it around.
That's not how you boil anything.
With that
That's
heat,
sauteing. She's sauteing the universe.
yeah, whatever. With that heat stinging her back, Mukuro looked ahead. Hey, there's Makoto's room. Hifumi and Chihiro were cautiously peeking from behind the door leading to the dorms, while Aoi and Taka kept watch from inside the building. After passing by them, Mondo slowed down the motorcycle as he reached for the front of the cafeteria and turned into a complete stop. The other students looked warily at Mukuro, but among these students, Mukuro noticed two people who weren't regarding her with suspicion.
Kyoko and Chihiro.
One was Kyoko, who seemed to be studying the situation. The other one was a skinny boy who was leaning against Kyoko's shoulder. Makoto? Mukuro's lips began to tremble as she sat on the back of the motorcycle. Ignoring the pain coursing through his body, Makoto smiled at Mukuro and repeated what he said to her earlier.
I'm glad. I'm glad you're safe, Mukuro.
Unfortunately, Mukuro was unable to realize her hope of filling her little sister with despair. Instead, she had successfully planted the seeds of hope into her fellow students.
So does Makoto not become the ultimate hope, then?
I don't know. But I do know one thing. I'm fucking hungry.